us on a journey through darkness will bring light. Rural Report is here, guiding us through the night.
Hello again and welcome back everybody to another edition of the Rural Report. I am your Rural 2IC, and if you watch my morning chats, this is going to be of no surprise of the video today, as well as the videos I'm going to be making the rest of this week and probably next week. If you don't know what I'm talking about, well, I highly encourage you to go check out my morning chats, but I know it's not for everybody. So, with all the different hype of the drones that's been going on, as well as some of the other interviews that are well known, the really big publicized podcasts and things like that, there's a lot of talk that's been going around. And it's starting to get people anxious and starting to get a lot of things on the radar and all that. And so I want to take and let's come back to fundamentals and let's talk about what we can do with it. Okay, so this video I want to talk about awareness. That's probably the first thing that we're going to have to really get before we can go any further into any more of these videos. And so the first step when it comes to awareness is we need to be informed. We need to be aware of what's going on. And there's many different things that you can do and utilize, and it's up to you and your discretion on how you want to do it. There's really no right or wrong way as long as you're getting information in and you know how to process it. So first things first, your best form of information is you yourself. What you can see and hear and touch and everything in person, not a video, not a picture, what you witness yourself in person. That is the best source of information you can possibly get. Now, when you start getting secondhand ones, so a very trusted friend or family member or neighbor or loved one, somebody in your household, co-worker, something like that, somebody you really, really, really trust, maybe they saw something and they're giving you their first-hand details, so now it becomes secondhand knowledge to you. Now that you have to take out a little bit is because it's not as good as firsthand, okay? But depending on the person, you kind of have to feel around on who's giving you that source of information. But you can kind of people tend to the old fishing stories, right? They tend to put a little bit more drama and everything, make them sound a little better. And even though that's not necessary when we're talking about just vital information. And then you can start getting other sources beyond that. So then you're starting to get friend of a friend, my wife's cousin, my third aunt, twice removed, anything from the newspaper, magazines, anything from blogs to YouTube videos, social media. You saw it on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or whatever else. It's still information. Now, it can be way out there, and it doesn't matter how you feel about it. Remember, we take emotion out of everything that we do. And it doesn't matter if everybody is seeing something up in the sky and it's just alien this and alien that. If you don't believe in aliens, that's fine, but it's still information. Somebody is talking about it, and it's gone to a point that a bunch of people are talking about it. Now, you don't have to agree that it's aliens, but the point of it is there's something going on and it's got a lot of people's attention. So it deserves a little bit of our attention. We need to look at the situation, dissect it, and figure out our own opinion on it. Okay. We may be able to look at it. So I know some of the pictures that's going around, clearly they put out a picture and they say, look at this UFO, and you can clearly see the tail number of the aircraft, that you can do a quick Google search and pull up that it's United Airlines or whatever. Okay. Some of those you can immediately shoot down yourselves. Others, um, you just kind of have to make your best educated opinion on it. Now, when we start getting into this, you have different points of information, and you have to gather as much as it is, okay? And you have to know how well that information is. If it's firsthand, is it secondhand, is it social media, is it people that has one single story but it's being spewed around by multiple sources. So multiple people are citing, I saw this on Fox News, I saw this on CNN, I saw it on TikTok, but it's all actually from one person. And so it's not a bunch of different sources, they're all retelling the same story from the same person. So you have to be very, very careful and try and gather as much information about the information so you get to have the idea of how useful it is and all that. Remember, if you're trying to do a sample size and you think that you've got 10 different opinions, but when you actually dig down deep and everybody's just regurgitating that one person's opinion, then you really have a sample size of one. You're not actually getting 10, so it skews your data and it can do a lot of damage. So be very, very careful on your information. And then when you get this information, one of the things that you need to do is to be able to dissect that information. And so you need to figure out basically doing your own salt report. And we're going to get into that in a whole different video. But you can do different things of the old reporting thing: who, what, why, when, where, and how. Okay, you do those kind of 6 things. Remember, it's good maybe the first time around to take names out of it, take very specific things out of it, take opinion out of it, and just start going through and say, okay, I'm reading this or I'm watching this. What is this about? Why are they putting this out? Who benefits from this? Where is this happening? And things like that. And then you can start getting down into, is this really affecting you right now? Is this going to affect you in the near term future? Is this something that's going to maybe affect you in the long term? Or is this something that it's probably not going to affect you at all? And so you have to be able to take that information, dissect it, and figure out where it is on your playing field, on your priorities. You're one person, okay? Remember, yes, you can be part of a family, you can be part of a team, a mag, whatever. And you can have 2 people in your little club, or you can have 100 people. Doesn't matter. When it comes down to inside your head, it's all going to come down to one. You need to figure out and form your opinion. You need to be as educated as possible about forming that opinion, because your opinion, when you start bringing other people in together, you start talking back and forth. That opinion needs to have things that back it up. Why do you believe this? And when you are trying to make things that could be a life or death situation, some sort of a decision, you don't need to have it to where we need to do this. Why? Um, my gut tells me, or I have a hunch. Okay, that's probably not going to fly in a lot of groups, or it's going to become very, very dangerous. But when we're talking about awareness as well, we go into different fields or different circles, or however you want to do it. Your first one is going to be your household slash your property. Depending on if you're an apartment or maybe a house, a mobile home, maybe a homestead, anything along those lines, it needs to be right here. This is the main focus. This has to have the most of our attention as possible, because if things are not good inside of your walls, doesn't matter if the world is golden or if it's burning down. Okay, things inside your 4 walls, inside that property line, need to be 100%. You need to take care of business first. Okay, once you get that down, then it becomes sightline. What if I go out my front door, my back door, whatever, and I look around? The things that I can see, that is going to be my second perimeter. Those are going to be where I need to be aware. You don't have to be up in people's business, but you need to listen. You need to watch, and you need to just take mental notes. Is the neighbor down, 2 doors down, that's got the blue house? Are they always fighting and arguing? Is the one getting in a pickup truck every other day and peeling out and all that? That's important. Okay, that means that they don't have their stuff going on very well inside their 4 walls. And if SHTF happens, um, that's not going to be a good situation. Okay, that means that for me, that's going to be a focus of mine of, uh, that's not good. Okay, now if you get the other one, that everything appears to be good, remember, we don't want a false sense of security. We don't let our guard down to absolutely anybody unless we 100% fully trust it. And keep in mind, when SHTF happens, people make dumb decisions. Okay, you can know somebody, they can be really good people that look like they go to church and pay their taxes and dress nice and are polite and everything else, but 2 or 3 days of no food and they can become a completely different person. So we never let our guard down, but we need to make sure that our sight line is good. So that way you know where your focus lies and where your attention needs to be. Once we get from that, then it goes to our neighborhood. We need to know what's going on around us. What is the people that's 2 blocks over or half a mile over or whatever? We need to know what's going on. Okay. We're not talking about, going and lifting through people's trash or flipping through mail or doing anything, things like that. We don't do that. Okay. But we're just driving by. You can tell a lot when you drive by a house. Is it upkept? Is it look pretty, decent things? I'm not talking about, there's a couple of toys out front, or maybe the garbage can got knocked over by the wind or whatever. I'm not talking about that. You can tell if half the windows are boarded up and there's spray paint everywhere and the grass is all overgrown. It's a mental note. Okay. We need to know what's going on. Um, it's different things, because if there's a bad section and things happen, if we're going to have to vacate, we don't want to go in that direction. We already know that that's probably, not all the time, but that's probably a bad no go area. We don't want to go into that area. Okay. Now, granted, it's when SHTF happens, who knows what's going to be the right area. But I'll tell you, if I have to pick, that way is, pretty nice houses and people that are nice and polite and things like that, versus this is kind of run down and more crime ridden and a lot of police cars or, sirens and things are going off over here. I'm not going in that direction. Okay. Not unless I absolutely have to. And that's my only decision. I want to go that way. Most of us probably will. Then you need to know what's going on in your state, so you can have it to where what is it in your town, but the towns of your neighbors of your towns, what's going on, 2 or 3 away, what's going on within your state. You need to go know what's going on regionally. If you live in California, it's not going to be as important yet on what's going on in Florida. Okay, it's whatever's going on there is not going to affect you real quick. Then you need to start worrying about country. Then you need to start worrying about world. And when we get into this, you need to have that focus of being able to gather a little bit of intel all over the place. Okay. Because one domino falling all the way across the world, okay, somewhere out in the Middle East, somewhere in Asia, wherever, somewhere in Europe, Africa, one domino falls and it can trigger a chain reaction all over the place. So we need to make sure that we're aware, because when we're talking about prepping, that's preparing. So if we can watch some of the stuff that's going on in the news, then that means that we can prepare, we can ahead of time see something coming, and we can focus our energy on that specific event or events that might come from that action that happened. So we can do things like that. Now, I'm not saying that we sit down and we devote 24/7 to reading articles and watching the news. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. But you can lift a finger and just leaf through headlines and scroll through a couple of headlines and just give it 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, whatever. Just scroll through a couple of things. Okay. You'll be able to know, because if it's something kind of big, a lot of people are probably going to be talking about it. A lot of the prepping channels are probably going to pick it up and things like that. So you can kind of go through and get a lot of that. But we need to make sure that we are at least doing our best to be aware of what's going on. Be aware, especially if you have a team, a mag, a tribe, a clan, whatever it is. Be involved with them. Okay. Don't just link up once a month at the gun club, fire a few rounds, chug a beer, and wave and move on, and think that that's training. Okay. If you honestly have them in your group for SHTF, then we are preparing for the absolute worst. Now we're hoping for the best, but we're preparing for the worst. That means a very long term SHTF. Those people that you chose to be involved with you, are you aware enough of the problems that they have? Are they having any sort of problems in their homes? Can you do anything to help out? Can you mediate? Maybe somebody lost a job, can you financially, step in and, hey, I'll take care of your phone bill this month or something. Just something to help out and take the stress off, to where it shows, hey, right now in peacetime, I'm there for you. So that way, in SHTF time, there's no question you'll be there for me. Okay. Now you have to watch. There's going to be people that take advantage of that and things like that. So you have to use your best discernment. But you have to know those people, because if the worst case happens, and say you have four different families, okay, maybe one of them is some sort of sibling, maybe the person that they're married to. So let's say you have a brother. Let's say that sister has a sister, and her husband are in the group, okay, and maybe a family friend or a schoolmate or something like that. Everybody kind of knows each other. Everybody's maybe related ish and things like that. Can you live together in a very small area for an extended period of time? If you can't, okay, this is one of the things that we need to be aware of. Is there those little quirks that you can overlook? Does somebody snore very loud? Does somebody chew their food funny? Does somebody have a awkward laugh or something like that? Can you overlook that? I know it seems small and stupid at right now, but trust me, let's say it's a 2 year SHTF. Can you overcome that for the next 2 years? Okay. And you have to be honest with yourself. Yes, I know it's a very um, pitiful thing, kind of shallow of somebody to be like, whoa, that person snores every single night. I can't put up with that for 2 years. So I'm going to have to kick him to the curb. Does the good outweigh the bad? Are they somebody that's very tactically trained, very medically trained? Maybe they're somebody that does farming or animal husbandry or something along those lines. And maybe you just need a set of earplugs to put up with it, because they are a very valuable asset. So you kind of have to take score, and you need to go down and you need to do an evaluation. But a lot of it's about awareness. We need to know what's going on inside of our home, what's going on inside of the homes to a certain extent. Remember, there is privacy, but the people that is going to be in with us during SHTF, we need to know our sight line. We need to know our neighbors and our neighborhood. We need to know our city. We need to know our state, our region, our country, and the world. It's a lot of things, and you can break it down if you want. Take a piece of paper, draw a couple of squares. Is my house good? Okay, everybody's good and everybody's happy. My sight line, how's my neighbors, my street, whatever. Everything seems to check out for today or this weekend or whatever. However you're going to do it, go through. Is my state, is there anything going on? Is there riots going on? Is there talk about some sort of protesting? Is crime seem to be going up? Leaf down through all that. Okay, is it good? Go down through on your state, on your region. Go down through on your country. How is things across the country? you know and it's one of them ones. If I live in California and something's going on in Maine, I still need to be aware of it. Okay, that can still spread to me. I still need to know what's going on. It doesn't matter if it's something's going on over there. If it's something that's disease or something like that, it has a chance to move across the country and affect me. Me being in Ohio, I'm kind of middle, more of the Middle East, but I'm centrally located, so there's a lot around me that can affect and move my way very, very quickly. So I'm very, very situationally aware. At least I try to be, so I have an idea of what's going on. Okay, so hopefully this made sense for you. Hopefully somebody out there is trying to pick up the message that I'm trying to lay down, and we're going to break each thing down, and we're going to get into more detail about different things and different steps that we need to take. But the very, very first thing that I really wanted to drill down on today was just awareness. Okay, just being aware. Okay, there's a lot of things that's being talked about right now of dirty bombs and different little uprisings and attacks and other things. And with a lot of that chatter, does it mean it's going to come true? No. Is there a possibility? Yeah. And that's where we need to take and kind of weigh it in. we need to take this a little bit more serious. Now is not the time. Okay. American holidays is a really good time for somebody to do something along those lines. Again, is it going to happen? I don't know. I wish I could tell you, no, absolutely it's not. But there's a chance. And that's why we need to prepare as best as we can and not live in fear. The better prepared, the less fear that we should have. So do what you can. Make sure that you're living your life. Remember, you're not promised tomorrow. So live your life to the fullest that you may not wake up tomorrow. So go through and do as much as you can today. And if by a miracle you open your eyes in the morning, be thankful and move on that today I get to do even more and build off of it and keep it going, because you can still pass all this stuff down to your spouse or your kids or your grandkids. You have built them a foundation, a stepping stone into a better chance of survival if something bad was ever going to happen. But that's what I've got for you guys today. I hope that this made sense for you. Hopefully, you got some substance and some value out of this. But that's what I've got for you guys today. I hope that you guys have an amazing day. Hope you have a blessed day. Stay tuned because there's more information to come. And with that, remain united because we're all prepping in this together.